Thank you all so much. Huge thanks to this music team. Thank you, Rev Eileen, for that beautiful meditation. They're going to get cozy. They're going to hang out with me on stage as we present to you a very unique music and message experience. About a month and a half ago, I went to Reverend Eileen. I said, I have this really great series of songs on gratitude, abundance, and thanksgiving. So for our pre-Thanksgiving Sunday service, why don't we do something a little different and do more music with our message? And she said, okay, tell me more. And I showed her the song. She said, this looks great. I bless it. It's all yours. And I said, well, hold on. I think there needs to be a talk that ties all the music together. And she said, oh, I'm sure there is, and I'm sure it'll flow through you, and I can start working on... She said, I can start working on December, so here we are. So today we celebrate this upcoming holiday season of giving and receiving by first focusing on the importance of gratitude, the necessity of anchoring our experience, beginning every day, every hour, every moment from a space of being grateful for what we have and who we are. Once we're living from that space, we can then see, witness, and experience the abundance of God, the abundant universe of possibilities and prosperity that is available to us at all times. And finally, seeing and accepting this abundance, we take this spiritual principle into our human experience and we express it with one another through this beautiful holiday that we call Thanksgiving. So let's dive in, beginning with gratitude and the importance of anchoring our thoughts each day into what we are grateful for. Reverend Eileen illustrated this beautifully in our meditation just a few minutes ago. When we're looking at how we can practice our spiritual principles, a great place to start is in our personal meditation or prayer practice. Rev Eileen and I have been prayer partners for almost a year and a half now. Having a prayer partner takes the power of affirmative prayer to the next level. Rather than you just knowing your divinity, which we know isn't always easy, you're allowing another person with their own experiences and their own vision of you to remember your divinity for you. You come to the other and you say, hey, I'm having this challenging human experience. Can you help me see the good in this? So I'm going to give you a funny example. Early on, Reverend Eileen and I sat down for prayer, and we'll each share what we're in need of prayer for. And I said, Rev Eileen, you're going to laugh, but I need you to pray for my relationship with my cat. My cat is ravenous. He drives me crazy. Growing up, me and my family always had cats who grazed. You leave out a big bowl of food, they eat when they need it, and otherwise go about their days being cats. Amy and I adopted Sketcher about 7 years ago when we first moved into our home, and he is the first and only cat I've ever known who does not graze. If I leave out several days' worth of food like I did for our cats growing up, Sketcher would die. He would simply eat himself to death. He is constantly on the kitchen counters, in the sink, staring us down at every meal. And it got to a point where I was constantly resenting him for being so single-minded. I decided that all he ever wanted was food, and other than providing him his 3 square meals a day, my answer to his cries were always, no, leave me alone. So Reverend Eileen prayed for me. She didn't pray for Sketcher to change. She prayed for my perception of him to change. She reminded me through her prayer why we adopted Sketcher in the first place, to be a companion, to be a unique example of love in our family. I realized through her prayer that no matter how I received his cries, Sketcher desired not only food, but love and attention and scritches behind the ears. And in deciding that he was single-minded, I was actually just making myself single-minded. And I had stopped showing him love in all the ways that all of our pets desire it. So Reverend Eileen's prayer energized me that week to rekindle and resupply that love to Sketcher. And while I won't tell you it was all rainbows and sunshine, he still wanted to eat all the time, I was experiencing less of a wanting from him because I had recognized that I had an abundant well of love that I could provide him. So the following week, when we came together for prayer, I thanked Reverend Eileen for this new experience. And I said, I just want to lift up and live in this feeling of gratitude that I have for this new way of seeing and experiencing Sketcher. This became our cycle as prayer partners. One week, we'd have a set of challenges for one another to help us see the good in. And the next week, we'd share our experience of overcoming that challenge And then we'd send out prayers of gratitude for those new experiences. So if you fast forward through that prayer partnership to now, anytime we pray together, gratitude and the challenge go hand in hand. It has become our natural flow that we anchor in gratitude, not just for our good, but for the blessing of knowing to look for the good in all things. And that's what happens when you practice spiritual principle with another person. You can hold each other accountable for always seeing the good. And I simply can't recommend highly enough that you consider creating a prayer partnership in your life. So as I was writing this, I looked back over what I just shared with you, and I had the thought, I really want to focus on gratitude, but here I am going on and on about prayer. And it was then that Spirit gave me a little nudge like it does and said, aren't they the same thing? Gratitude is a form of prayer. We tend to think of prayer as its own moment, bowing the head and closing the eyes, but the reality is that life is a prayer. What we affirm in prayer defines the way we live and act, which in turn defines our life experience. And when we do that from a space of gratitude for what is, we make way for the potential of what will be.
I've got a roof over my head. I've got a warm place to sleep. Some nights I lie awake counting gifts instead of counting sheep. I've got a heart that can hold love. I've got a mind that can think. There may be times when I lose the light and let my spirit sink, but I can't stay depressed when I remember how I'm blessed. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful. And in a city of strangers, I've got a family of friends. No matter what rocks and brambles fill the way, I know that they will stay there till the end. I've got a hand holding my hand. It's not a hand you can see, but on the road to the promised land, that hand will shepherd me through delight and despair, holding tight and always there. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful. Truly blessed and duly grateful.
So I like to imagine gratitude as the glasses that allow us to see the abundance of good that's always available to each and every one of us. Before we learn to be grateful for what we have, life can look kind of blurry. When we're ungrateful, we're coming from a place of lack. And when we perceive lack in our experience, the universe says, okay, lack it is. Here you go, enjoy your lack, but feel free to change your mind at any time. And everyone's prescription is a little different. What I'm grateful for will be different from what you're grateful for. But once we anchor in that gratitude, we're putting on those glasses and we're seeing life in 2020. And it's like a buffet of opportunity. My family has a history of being short-sighted, and I didn't know how much I was affected by this until I was 14 years old and I was prescribed my first pair of glasses. I wear contacts now. I'll never forget first walking outside with those glasses on and my mom asking how everything looked, and I was awestruck. And I said, I can count the leaves on the trees. Before, it was just kind of a blur of green, but now I could really appreciate the details. Maybe you've had a similar experience with glasses, or maybe you don't hear well naturally and have been able to tune into the world in a brand new way through the use of hearing aids. Maybe you've lived with debilitating pain, and a new surgery was able to return you to a space of comfort. All of these examples illustrate our experience with and without the God quality of gratitude, which allows us to see and accept God's abundance. A book that truly changed my life by requalifying my perspective on abundance is The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. And I love this paragraph from the book where she illustrates abundance in such a simple way by talking about her friend Bernice's experience. She says this, "What gives us true joy? That is the question to ask concerning luxury." And for each of us, the answer is very different. For Bernice, the answer is raspberries. Fresh raspberries. She laughs at how easily pleased she is. For the cost of a pint of raspberries, she buys herself an experience of abundance. Sprinkled on cereal, cut up with a peach, poured over a scoop of ice cream. She can buy her abundance at the supermarket and even get it quick frozen if she has to. They cost $1.98 to $4.50 depending on the season. I always tell myself they're too expensive, but the truth is that's a bargain for a week of luxury. It's less than a movie, less than a deluxe cheeseburger. I guess it's just more than I thought I was worth. It's important to point out that abundance and lack are not opposites because only one of them is real. Lack is simply what you think you're living in when you can't see your abundance. At Unity, we say the same thing of love and fear. Fear is just the illusion we've created for ourselves when we cannot see all the ways that we are loved. Every single thing that we witness in this human experience is a physical manifestation of the law of abundance. Look around you. The lush greenery on this campus. All of the people sitting around you. The comfortable chairs that are available for each person. The abundance of food available after service through our courtyard brunch. And I know some of you have seen that food run out in the past, but that's because of the abundance of people. If you think you see lack, you may just not be looking in the right place. The evidence is everywhere. On the flip side, there is no physical evidence of lack in our experience. You can't show it to me. You cannot prove lack. You can say, well, Jesse, here are all these bills I have to pay, and here's this bank account that says I lack the funds needed. But that is just your story, your interpretation. We know someone else might look at that situation and go, wow, how blessed you are to have the independence to receive and pay those bills, to enjoy the luxury of a place you can call home with warm water and electricity. What a blessing to know that all of our senses, be it sight, sound, touch, taste, smell, they all provide the means to witness the unlimited evidence of God's abundance.
is healing in the power of the Lord Most High. There is courage in the shadow of the wings. There is peace unending over all my life. There is freedom that washes over me. I find all I need here in your presence, Lord. I open up my soul and you fill me up with all I need here in your presence, Lord, where blessings overflow. There's always abundantly more. There is rest in the goodness of the Lord my God. There is treasure in the miracles we see. But there is comfort in knowing the unfailing love, my provider. You set my spirit free. Yeah. I find all I need here in your presence, Lord. I open up my soul and you fill me up with all I need here in your presence, Lord, where blessings overflow. There's always abundantly more. More than I could ask or seek, more than I could fathom. God, your love for me is better than I imagined. More than I could ask or seek, more than I could fathom. God, your love for me is better than I imagined. More than I could ask or seek, more than I could fathom. God, your love for me is better than I imagined.
More than I could ask or see, more than I could fathom. God, your love for me is better than I imagined.
Find all I need here in your presence, Lord. I open up my soul and you fill me up with all I need here in your presence, Lord, where blessings overflow. There's always abundantly more.
More than I could ask or see. Oh, more than I could ask or see.
More than I could ask or see, more than I could fathom. God, your love for me is better than I imagined.
So, your practical spiritual tool this week is gratitude. I encourage you to begin each day finding something to be grateful for and anchoring into gratitude as you move through your life experience. What better time to practice this than this holiday season, where all of humanity takes the time to practice gratitude and celebrate abundance? As individuals in spiritual community, we know that life is a journey of awakening. We get to be the voice that says, hey, humanity, every day can be Thanksgiving. Last week, our choir sang these words, "Make it a day of thanksgiving, and God will fill your heart with joy. When you find your troubles beginning, sing a song of thanks to the Lord." If you're having an experience of lack in your life, you can instantly turn it into an experience of abundance by anchoring into gratitude and making every day a day of thanksgiving. We have one more song to share with you this morning, but first I want to read you a beautiful poem by Edgar Albert Guest. When I stumbled upon these words, it reminded me not only of my experience of Thanksgiving growing up, but it also reminded me of this community and everything that we've been through together. This is Thanksgiving by Edgar Albert Guest. Getting together to smile and rejoice, and eating and laughing with folks of your choice, and kissing the girls and declaring that they are growing more beautiful day after day. Chatting and bragging a bit with the men, building the old family circle again, living the wholesome and old-fashioned cheer just for a while at the end of the year. Greetings fly fast as we crowd through the door, and under the old roof we gather once more, just as we did when the youngsters were small. Mothers a little bit grayer, that's all. Fathers a little bit older, but still ready to romp and to laugh with a will. Here we are, back at the table again, telling our stories as women and men. Bowed are our heads for a moment in prayer. Oh, but we're grateful and glad to be there. Home from the East Land and home from the West, home with the folks that are dearest and best. Out of the sham of the cities afar, we've come for a time to be just what we are. Here we can talk of ourselves and be frank, forgetting position and station and rank. Give me the end of the year and it's fun, when most of the planning and toiling is done. Bring all the wanderers home to the nest. Let me sit down with the ones I love best. Hear the old voices still ringing with song. See the old faces unblemished by wrong. See the old table with all of its chairs. And I'll put soul in my Thanksgiving prayers.
Familiar highways lined with leaves turn brown, making my way back into my hometown. Funny how this all looks different, but it feels the same. Like how life never stops changing, but some things never change. So fill your plate and fill your drink. Fill this house with family, the kind of love that all these years can't wash away. 'Cause the older that I get, I see that life is short and bittersweet. Thank God for this Thanksgiving Day. Watching football, watching families grow, the old kids' table all have kids of their own. Starting to see my grandfather in my nephew's eyes. Mom still can't talk about him and not almost cry. So fill your plate and fill your drink. Fill this house with family, the kind of love 1,000 miles can't wash away. 'Cause the older that I get, I see that life is short and bittersweet. Thank God for this Thanksgiving Day. So fill your plate and fill your drink. Put your dishes in the kitchen sink and let the leftover year just wash away. 'Cause we've made it through, I do believe, with a heart of love and unity. Thank God that it's Thanksgiving